Hi everyone. I wanted to share a video today of refinishing the vintage mirror that I was given to do as a project. One of my followers saw the mirror I did with the postal birds that I had for sale in my booth, and it was white and it had distressing and some antiquing wax on it, and then it had birds, you know, the postal birds transfer added onto it. So she had a mirror from her family that's been sitting in the back of a closet. So she thought maybe I could help her redo it and make it something she'd want to put on her wall. So this is the mirror. It has really pretty top to it, very scalloped, lovely curved edges. Okay, so it's a really pretty mirror, but it was just all brown. The mirror itself is got beveled edges, has some natural aging to it, so I'm not going to antique the glass part. So what I've done already is we deglossed the brown wood, and we primed it. I primed it. Then I painted 2 coats of kind of a creamy off-white that I ended up blending 2 paints to make this kind of creamy antique white look. And then I've distressed it already, so you can probably see there's like brown wood coming through. There's some distressing on it. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. And now I'm going to add some clear wax, and then I'm going to add some brown wax to make it look aged. And I already did it on this mirror frame. This was just all brown, so I did the same thing to this frame that I'm going to do to this big mirror. And this was brown, so then I deglossed it, I primed it, I added the same color white to it, sanded it, then I clear waxed it, and then added brown antique wax. So it looks nice and aged. Hopefully you can see that. And so that's kind of the look that we're going for. And that's what I'm going to do on here. So I saved my brushes from earlier when I was doing the little picture frame. I put them in cling wrap. And now I'm just going to add the clear wax to the frame. And what I think I might do is move the mirror out of the way for right now, so I don't get wax all over the mirror. I didn't want to be careful of the edges. The edges are raw, and so I cut myself recently kind of badly on a mirror that I was working on. So I don't want to do that again. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so I'm just gonna, I put some, I have Johnson's paste wax, and I just sort of dabbed it on my brush, and then I'm going to work it into the piece. So what I do, I clear wax first, so that when I add the brown wax, it's easier to rub some of it off. So you don't have too much antiquing wax on your piece. It's kind of just, you want to age it. You don't really want to just make it all brown again. So it's kind of just a trial and error kind of thing, where you just start adding it and then wipe it off till you get it the way you want it. And this clear wax will also protect the piece. And then after I get the frame all done, I'm going to be adding a transfer to the glass. And we've picked this pretty transfer. It's called Life in Full Bloom. I did part of this transfer on a little pedestal table a few months ago, and so we're going to use the rest of what's left of this transfer on the mirror. So I might be able to show you that this evening. I'm trying to work it into all the areas inside there and on the top. Clear wax is not only a protector of your paint, but it also gives kind of a nice soft look and finish to your piece. This Johnson's wax is a little smelly, but the smell will dissipate. It doesn't stay really on the piece. After it dries and you buff it, it really doesn't have that smell anymore. I personally like using kind of a satiny finish, and I tried, usually if I'm doing it on furniture that's going to be, have some use to it. If I use wax, I like to use the stuff that dries with a hard finish, so it's definitely much more protective. There's all kinds of different waxes you can get, different finishes, different strengths. Okay. So then I use just a soft, kind of like a tea towel, and sort of wipe it off a little bit. And then I will be adding the antiquing wax. And hopefully this will be really pretty, and it won't look really new or anything. It'll hopefully have a nice vintage style to it when it's all done. And I did a mirror, I don't know, last year I think. I don't know, time's flying, so it might have been even 2 years ago now. The gray sort of French mirror, if any of you remember that one. That one I, again, primed, painted white, and then I dry brushed gray over it, distressed it, added antiquing wax to it, and that one I added French, like gold saying onto the glass part. And that mirror we actually antiqued that glass part. Also the postal birds mirror, we antiqued the glass part, but this one I don't have to do that. So this is the brown wax, antique wax that I'm going to use. I think I got it, yep, Hobby Lobby. It says it's folk art, home decor wax, antique wax. It says plaid, I don't know, but it's just a brown. And I usually put a little bit in a container, like this, and then take a little brush like this. Especially for the mirror, I use this little brush, or you could use a bigger one like this. And you put a little bit, just sort of dip it in the paint like that, pounce it off a little, And then I also have a paper towel that I use to sort of dab it off so I don't get too much on my piece. And then I start going over the areas that I want brown. Okay? And get in the crevices. Like that. And if you find that you end up putting too much on, you can, after you wipe it with your cloth, you can, and you think it's too much, you can go over it with some clear wax and try to get more of the brown off. Okay. And what I try to do is I do kind of small areas and not do the whole thing and then go back. I try to do a little bit at a time. I'm doing this edge here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my same cloth and start to wipe it off. Oops. And try to get some of it off so it doesn't look, you know, just overly brown. You want it kind of like sort of dirty, aged look. Usually we don't want our stuff old and aged and all full of grime and dirt. But if you want something to look antique, you know, the antique stuff has been through a lot and has had a lot of people touching it and dust getting on it. In the past, people used clear wax to polish a lot of their furniture, so the wax buildup would get on most old antique furniture. And when you got wax buildup, then, you know, every time you touch it or put something on it, it might kind of stick on there. So the trick is going to be getting into these crevices area, where I want some buildup in there, but I don't want too much. So I may have to get another brush, like a clean brush, and get in there and clean those out a little bit more. I can use my clear brush with the clear wax and try to get some of that out of there a little bit. I don't like that too much in there. It's a little tricky and it can take some time, but if you take your time with it, you can kind of achieve a pretty antique look. And it's really kind of up to your own sense of style that you like, whether how much you put on, how much you take back off. Okay, so I think I'm going to need to kind of get into the crevices a little bit more to get some of that back off. Maybe next time around I won't put so much in there. I don't know. I'm playing. It's really kind of it's just playing and deciding as you go what it looks like, and if you like it, if you don't like it, add or take off as you go. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, I want to to kind of just show you one side from the other. This side has the antique wax on, this side doesn't yet. So I'm going to keep working on this. A little more clear wax on there. And, oops. Okay, so I just pounce, get some on my little brush, and take some of it back off. And start pouncing on my detail work. And as you go, you kind of decide, you know, okay, I like that part, but I don't really like that part. You know, I'm going to do it. Try to copy the one part that I did like. It's all just a kind of trial and error. So I'm hoping that if I can make this video turns out okay, that Facebook will actually let me post it. There are times when I make videos and for whatever reason I cannot post them, and so then no one sees all the fun things I'm doing. Ever since Facebook changed their way they have their business pages, I know I'm not the only one, but I've been having a lot of trouble with my page. I can no longer find, you know, there's no category for videos anymore on my page. They used to have a button like, you know, you could click on it and see my photos, or you could see my videos. Now the videos are no longer there. So I don't know. I know other people are having problems too with it, and I'm not the only one, but it's very frustrating. So if anybody's watching this and has some advice on how I get the choice to have my video, you know, button back, I'd really appreciate some advice on that. Okay, starting to get aged. I'll show you that. Okay, hopefully you can see that pretty well. And then I'm just going to work my way around, doing the rest of the frame part. Like I said, do just little areas, because you can always go back. But you don't want to do too much and have it dry on you so you can't take it back off a little bit. Okay. And, you know, this adding brown wax definitely changes the color, so, you know, if you don't want it overly beige, then maybe start with a real bright white, so it tones it down a little, but not as much as if you use, like I did here, where I started with a cream color. And I just distressed using sandpaper. if I was doing a live version of this, then you guys could ask me questions if you had any. But since I'm not doing a live version, because I never know what I'm going to do so far in advance that I could give you a heads up as to that I'm going to go live. I know I'm trying to improve all my tactics on social media, but I'm just really still not the best at that. So if you have any questions, please add them in the comments after you watch the video, and I will try to respond and answer the best that I can any questions you might have. I don't do antiquing and distressing that much anymore. I personally I like it depending on the piece. Like on something like this, it's perfect for this. I personally like a lot of bright, clean, sort of simple furniture. I think it goes easier in people's houses sometimes. I know a lot of people were doing the white farmhouse stuff a few years back when Joanna Gaines was big. And so there was a lot of white, distressed, antiqued furniture then. And I did more of it then than I do now. So since I don't do it very often, it's kind of fun. Do something different once in a while. So if you have a vintage mirror that, let's say somebody gave it to you, let's say it was your mom's or your aunt's or your dad's or some family member, and you feel like, oh, I feel guilty painting that or doing anything to it because it was theirs, you know, but you don't like the way it is, so it doesn't really match your house. You think it's a pretty mirror, but it's just kind of not suitable for you to match the decor you have. What I would say is, if you think it's a really old antique that might be worth something, call an antique dealer, ask them if they do appraisals. Some do, some don't, and have them come out and appraise it. Usually you got to pay them a fee, and they will come and tell you how much it's worth before you do anything to it. And if it's really not worth a whole bunch of money, sometimes, you know, you think it's an old antique, but it's really not old enough, or it's not in the best condition, or it wasn't really anything special. It was just meant, it has meaning because it was your family member's item. Then I would say paint it, fix it up, do something to it so that you will love it and it can match and go in your home and go up on your wall. And every time you look at it, you'll think of your family member and you'll love the piece instead of just having it hidden somewhere. A lot of people have family items and they just kind of put them in the attic or the basement or in a closet, or, you know, because they don't really match their house. And that's kind of sad, because if the piece had been originally painted, you probably wouldn't think much about repainting it. But because the piece in old times, they would just use stain, because brown stain covered up a lot of imperfections, to be honest. So when we strip off the paint, the stain, and sand it off, a lot of times the stuff has, you know, breaks in the wood or gouges or things that were there when they made the piece, not from the piece's life. So you'd be surprised what's under that, what that brown stain hides. But it's just a top coat. It's still wood. You change it from a stain brown color to a white color, it really makes no difference, as long as you're not ruining the value of an antique. All you're doing is making it more up to date and something you will love. And that is actually more important than having something hidden in a closet or in your basement or up in the attic. It's getting no love there, has no life, no one cares about it. You're not getting the memory of your family member. So I say, do something with it. So that now I think is really pretty. And it, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's no longer boring and brown. It's got some definition, has some aging to it. I want to make sure I've gotten all the areas like consistent. So to me, that's really pretty, and I really like it, and I hope my client likes it. And then after this dries, I'll probably do another coat of clear just for like a little bit more added protection. But I don't want to wipe off all the brown. So for now, that's what I'm going to do for this. And now let's see if we can move on to the transfer. Okay. And pull the mirror back. I think I'm going to turn it the other way this time so I can work on the transfer properly. I'll make sure this is right. Okay. So I've already cleaned the mirror. So let me show you. So this is the transfer we're going to use on it, and may not use the words, so I think I'm going to cut those out. She's going to decide that after we see what the flowers look like and whether she wants the words added or not. So I just cut those out and keep them, set them aside. Okay, so this transfer, like I said, is by Redesign with Prima, and it's called Life in Full Bloom. It's really pretty. It's got sort of peachy, rose pink colored flowers and some green, some browns. So this is going to be put on the mirror like that. So the flowers will be coming up towards the top of the mirror. Figure out. Okay, so that's how it's going to go. I'll take the frame off. I have a messy desk. Lots of stuff. Okay, so it pretty much extends the length of the mirror, and I have to decide like how far down I want to start them, because I want it to look like it's, you know, it's coming out from the frame. So that's rather tricky. Figure out like how that's going to work. I don't really want to cut off too much of the flowers. Sorry, thinking. So with the transfer, it comes with this white backing sheet. So I'm going to pull that off, and then I have to position it where I want it, and tack it down, and then if I use, and then use a brayer. It comes with these brown brayer sticks. So I should have had the mirror put into the glass or into the frame before I start. Oh. I'm very leery in lifting up this glass because I really don't want it to cut me. I thought I was going to need stitches. I didn't go get stitches, but I probably actually needed them. So I guess I will just start adding it. I can kind of see where the frame was, so I guess I'll just make sure it's down there. Okay, well, here we go. Okay, come on, friend. Okay. So you just set it where you want it. Start pushing it down. Okay. And you take this and you're going to start on one end and rub. All right. And you're going to rub over the whole thing. And I hope it's low enough so the frame covers this up, but doesn't cover too much of the flowers. And you rub it all and try to get it all to stick down. Hopefully this will work without too many problems. I love the Redesign with Prima transfers. It's really pretty. A lot of the colors look very natural. There's some other companies that have some now too. Iron Orchard Design has transfers. They might have been the first, besides the old ones from like the 70s. And then I think there's Maisie and Willow and Hocus Pocus, and then Dixie Belle now, the paint company has some. I haven't tried those. I've tried the Iron Orchid Designs, I think, and the Redesign with Prima. Okay, after you try to rub it all down, you start with one corner and you rub and lift a little as you rub. And you're going to try to make sure that it is not coming up. If it's coming up, set your plastic back down and rub some more. Okay? You can usually see that it's sort of looks a little different as you rub once it's stuck down. But go rather slowly so you don't rip. the transfer underneath. And you want to make sure it's nice and stuck to your surface. And a lot of the like tiny little leaves, little tiny details, you know, you got to be careful around those. You want to rub those good and, you know, make sure those are sticking nicely. So doing this mirror for my client is making me think I want to take, there's some mirrors in my booth, a little round one, a little square one. I'm thinking I might take those out of my booth, bring them here, and add a transfer to those. Not sure exactly what kind, but I might do that. I do have a really big gold framed nice mirror in my booth, and if anyone really wanted that changed and have a transfer added to that, you could buy it and let me know. I could talk to you about what you wanted for a transfer and add one to that mirror. So it's time consuming. You know, you have to be patient and try to, you know, work all the way from one side to the other. But to me, I think it's worth it, especially if you're not like an artist that can actually paint flowers on things freehand. Something like this looks like it's been painted, especially on furniture, but you don't have to have any skill as far as painting, you know, as an artist would have. Because I don't have those kind of skills. I wish I did, but I don't. I have a couple little bubbles in this, so I don't know what, it's probably maybe some imperfections in the mirror. So hopefully that's not going to be too much of a problem. And then after the transfer is on, I think we usually spray some top coat on it, even on a mirror, because it's not really a mirror you're going to be looking at yourself in. It's just a decorative accent. So I don't know if you can see how it's you know, sticking down to the mirror. I'm going to go up to this top flower here and work this down. So if any of you who follow me and you live in Illinois, or even like southern Wisconsin, you know, kind of like Kenosha, Antioch in Illinois, or Lakeville, and you haven't been to Reclaimed Artisans, you should go, because we've had a lot of good sales, and the store is packed with all kinds of amazing home decor, antiques, vintage pieces, lovely furniture, art pieces that people have made, different crafts and things that they make. It's really a fantastic store, actually. And the people that work there are really nice and friendly, and definitely help you with anything that you might have a question on. Or if something is high up on a shelf, they will get it down for you. They will carry stuff and help you load it in your vehicle. I think we're going to be having kind of an outdoor sidewalk sale, July 22nd through the 24th. So I might have some things out there on the sidewalk. If I haven't sold my yellow cart, I'll probably put that out there. We just sanded and repainted a big long white bench. It's an outdoor bench, just a, not with a back, it's just, a straight bench. So I'll probably be putting that out there. But other people will have other things, so might be a good time to stop in. Especially when it's rainy and gross out. Time to go shopping. Hello, husband. He's wondering why I'm talking to myself. It's not that unusual. I know this is taking some time, but hopefully hopefully you can see that. It's looking really pretty, actually. And if you have any questions on how to go about buying a transfer, or on how to use one, just pop those in the comments section and I will try to answer your questions. Most of you know my husband Jeff. He does all the repairs. He does a lot of the dirty work of sanding and repairing and stuff and cleaning things. But he also does a lot of the painting too now, because I have a lot of things I have to do with the booth that I never really had to do before. So he is a huge part of It's Flippin' Vintage, and he is very highly skilled, and so what he does turns out in excellently. Okay, so you can see that it's being, it's sticking down onto the mirror. It's looking really pretty. Hopefully the frame covers up some of it without covering up too much. That's going to be, hopefully, work out okay. I'm going to start on this end over here. Try to match up to the part where I already did. I know I'm probably making funny faces. I tend to do that when I'm concentrating. Sorry. Oh. I do have on my Facebook page a video that this girl named Cece did, I think a while back, because she looks a little different on there than she does now. But she is a creator for Redesign with Prima. I think she creates some of the designs. And she had a video on printing your own transfers on your own printer at home. So if anybody maybe wants to try that, look on my page and there's a video of her showing how you do that. This is taking a while. I'm sorry. I want to be able to show the way it looks. Now when I did a little round pedestal table with the other half of this transfer, and it sold pretty quickly. It was really pretty. It was white and it had this transfer on the top. It's probably in one of my photo albums under accent tables. And I have a table in my booth right now that's for sale. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've seen that. It's white and it has blue and floral transfer on it. I think it's gorgeous, and I was hoping somebody else would and want it. It's like I always want my things just to have a home with someone who really loves them. Almost like my children. I shouldn't really get attached to my things as much as I do, but it's coming. Like I said, it takes patience, you know, and it's a little time consuming, and especially if you do a full transfer on like a big piece of furniture. Expect to be doing it for probably a couple hours. So, you know, things with transfers tend to be a little more expensive because, one, you've got the cost of the transfer itself, but it also takes a lot of time to apply them. I'm falling off my chair. So I'm not sure if any of you are furniture refinishers, and if you like to watch YouTube videos of people working on furniture and doing projects. I have been doing that now. And I found a really interesting guy who's been doing YouTube videos with doing decoupage. And he did an elaborate Art Deco wardrobe, and he used an old curtain panel from his house. It was black background with these gorgeous pink flowers on it, on this fabric, and he put it on the front door of this Art Deco wardrobe. And at first I thought, this guy's crazy. One, I don't know how fabric, you know, would work, how well that's going to hold up. And he showed it step by step how he did it. No, I don't think I have the patience or really want to do something that elaborate. But it was gorgeous when he was done. And I was so impressed. I think his name is Jonathan Mendez, maybe? I know his company is called Painted Love. And so if you look that up, you'll probably find it. Okay, voila, it is done. Woohoo! So usually I just kind of use my finger and go along and try to make sure it's all stuck down. Gotta be careful on the edge here of the mirror. Oh, look at that, I don't want to cut myself. Any bubbles, I want to try to get those down. I think Redesign with Prima now has what looks like kind of a magic sponge, but it's this white, like spongy thing that they use to go over their transfers now. I don't have one of those. I may get one, but I think it's just to make sure all the edges are down. Okay, so let's do that. Now I'm going to try to set the frame on it and turn it around so you can see it. So, I don't know if we can lift it up. No, probably not. Just, I'm such a chicken when it comes to lifting up this glass. Okay, it's kind of hard because my light is reflecting into this mirror, but I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a little hard to see, I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get it out of the light there. All right, that's how it's gonna look. And then I'll have to text her and see if she's gonna want the words on there or not. And the words would be, you know, added up on top here, but maybe. These could be added in here, like that, but it doesn't really need it. So, I think it looks lovely. So, I hope she likes it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, or whatever you want to call it. My video on adding a transfer to a mirror and antiquing the wood of the mirror. My darn lights are causing a problem. I have fluorescent lights up here. So that's what it looks like. That's how you would do it. And I hope you enjoyed watching me. I know it was a little long and maybe kind of boring to watch me put the transfer on, but I wanted to share what I was doing with this mirror. So if you watched, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.